sing to me? What do you sing to me? Honey, I don't be ever cool. 不想最后 we all lose. You're so down, we were had. You say only pleasure someone.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Simple with Sheer Magic. How you guys doing today? If this is your first time watching, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and stay for a while. If you've already subscribed to me and you've watched me before, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yeah, I'm coming on with a quick video talking about this movie by Tyler Perry and eating on my freeze pops. But before I get started, let me know what you are sipping on. Yes, I still have my good vodka over here in the cup. So, if you have not watched the movie, stop this video right now and go and watch the movie. Because I'm about to tell it all. It's on Amazon Prime and it's free if you got Amazon Prime. But it is called Divorce in the Black. And it's Tyler Perry's new movie that just came out. Has Megan Good, Corey Hardick, Debbie Morgan, Richard Lawson. They are all amazing actors and actresses and stuff. So they said that Megan Good picked Corey Hardick. Like Tyler Perry asked Megan Good, who do you want to work with that's underrated or something like that? And she just popped off and said Corey Hardick because she likes his acting skills and different things like that. So he wound up getting the role. So they're husband and wife. And so Megan comes from, her name is Ava in the movie, and his name is Dallas in the movie. So she comes from she has a mother, father, good upbringing. Her mother and father are very loving. They've been married for a long time, and she felt like when you're married, you take care of your husband, you cook, you clean, you make sure he's good and all this other stuff. Well, Corey Dallas, he came from a total different background. Like his family was straight gangsters. They, shoot them up, bang, bang people, robbing people, a whole bunch of bad stuff. So he has some demons that he's dealing with. And I guess throughout the marriage, he expresses these things to Ava. And this is what keeps her holding on to the marriage because she don't want to leave him because she feels bad for him because of what he went through in his past. And he drinks a lot and he smokes. So when he gets to drinking and stuff and they get to talking, he talks to her. He confides in her some of the personal stuff that he went through growing up. So this keeps her holding on to her marriage and the fact that she loves him. So they get ready to, let me see what they did. So so she has a best friend and then he has a best friend, which those two are married. They're a couple. So they go to dinner together and do different things. And so Ava works at the bank with her best friend. And so she helped Dallas get a job. Y'all gonna hear me say Corey and Dallas and Ava and Megan. Sorry about that. But she helped him get a job, so he needed his job. So he had got drunk one time and was just really embarrassing. Oh no, I take it back. 7 minutes into the movie, okay? 7 minutes and some seconds into the movie. It wasn't even too long. What happened was, I need my scissors and quit doing this with my teeth. What had happened was his brother had been back and forth to jail. So his brother gets out of jail, and one of the ladies in the church, now Megan Good, her dad is a pastor of the church, and her mom's the first lady. So she wanted to help because his brother got killed by the lady in the church that he tried to rob her, and she wound up, unaliving him. I should say, I gotta watch what I say on YouTube. So the funeral was at the Dash Church. So the dad gets up there at the funeral and he's not lying. He's not saying, oh, he's in heaven now watching down on us and all this other stuff. He was like, these are bad people. Like, he's a bad person. So the mama is sitting there like, are you talking about my boy? Are you talking about my son? And that he's not in heaven? And he's like, no, he's not in heaven. He's in hell. He's a bad boy. You and your family just destroyed this whole town with y'all's evilness and your, the things that y'all do. So Dallas is sitting there looking at Ava's dad, and Ava's like, Dad, like, calm down. So he goes off. So the mother gets up and she's mad, and she was just like, we don't need y'all's money, because so Ava's family paid for the funeral for her husband Dallas's brother to get buried. So the mother, which was Debbie Morgan, she gave the mother clothes to be able to wear to the funeral. Well, the mother gets up and she's like, no, you're not going to disrespect my boy and this, that, and stuff. So she tells her boys, she was like, get your brother, get your brother. And they looking like, what are you talking about? And she's like, get your brother. We're not going to sit here and take their money. So she starts to take her clothes off in the church. And people are like, what is she doing? Well, she's taking her clothes off in the church because she's like, I don't need these clothes that you gave me because y'all feel like y'all had to help us. We don't need your help. So she's cussing in the church and everybody's going crazy and all this other stuff. Well, she tells the brothers to go get their brother. Mind you, he's in the casket. And so some people say he went too far with it, with what he did. But they goes up there to get the brother in the casket. When they're going to move the casket to roll their brother out, and she's like, no. She said, leave that damn casket because they paid for it. And I don't want them to think I owe them nothing. She said, get your brother out the casket. I was like, what? So they literally lift the hood of the casket and like picking their brother up. I thought that was so disrespectful. But picking their brother up, and they're carrying their brother out the church, not in the casket, just like his body. And so Megan Good's like flipping out, going crazy. Then her dad, the pastor, was like, no, let them take their brother, their family member, whatever. And said, because, he's already, I forgot what he said, the words that he used, but they didn't want the help from the pastor. So I'm thinking, where are you going to take him to them? So they take him to they have property. So they take him to their backyard and they bury him. So then Megan Good's talking to her mother and her father and stuff, and they was like, I don't know where you went wrong. Like, we raised you so good. He's nothing but evil, and his family is evil. And she was like, no, I love him, and I'm going to, be there for him, and this and that stuff. So she leaves, and she drives out to the family's house, and they're like, what are you doing here? Like, we don't want you here. And so Corey felt like Ava's always set him up. Like, you want me to be somebody that I'm not. You don't love me because you're always trying to correct me or tell me to do this or tell me to do that. She's like, no, I do love you, And so she drives out there, and the family's like, what are you doing here? And she was just like, where's Dallas at? So Dallas was sitting in the truck, and she goes over there, and she's talking about like a good, fun memory, but he don't want to hear it. And he was like, get out of this truck. He said, get out now. And he said, you either going to get out or I'm going to come snatch you out. And he said, and I'll do it. So at that point, I'm like, maybe he's putting his hands on her, And so she gets out the truck. She goes to her car. Well, she's still on the property, but she fell asleep in the car because she's waiting on Dallas. Well, the mom bangs on the window, and she's like, what are you doing? And she said, I'm waiting on Dallas. And she said, he's already gone. And she said, get off of my property. So Ava winds up leaving, getting off the property and stuff. Well, when she left, the guy at the bar wound up calling her and was like, he's up here like cutting up. I didn't call the authorities. I wanted to call you first. So she gets there, and he's like, what are you doing here? And you always embarrassing me and all this other stuff. And so she's like, no, we need to go home. We need to go home, and you have to work in the morning. And so he said something about his job. And so she said, no, you guys know he needs his job. He needs his job. So the older brother says, Ava, go to the car, and I'll have him come out. Give me a minute. So when Ava goes out, there's a guy she knew, but I didn't know if that was like they had a crush or something back in the day. But he was coming into the bar, and so he was speaking to Ava. So she turns around because she knows that, Dallas is on his way out there, and she kind of gives him a little hug or whatever. So they come out, and he was like, oh, look who we got here. Do we need to beat you down again? And this and that, whatever. And so the guy, they was actually about to fight the guy. And then the guy at the bar came out with his gun and stuff. It was like, we ain't having this. Y'all go home. And then he told, what's the guy? I can't think of his name. But he told him, he said, if you coming to have a drink tonight, he said, we're closed. So Dallas tried to get in the car and drive. And Ava was like, no, you can't drive, like you've been drinking and, this, that, and stuff. And he was like, get out the way, give me the keys and stuff. So they was like scuffling. So the oldest brother comes over there, grabs Dallas, and he's just like, no, you are not driving. Let Ava drive. So he grabs the keys from Dallas, throws them to Ava, was like, Ava, get in the car. So he drags Dallas over to the passenger seat and all this other stuff, and they're in the car, and Dallas is kind of like crying and all this other stuff. When they get home and they're, in the bed, and she rolls over, he's not there, and then she goes to the bathroom, and he's sitting on the side on the toilet, like on the floor, and so he's crying, and she's like, "What's the matter? Talk to me, And so he started like revealing that he wound up killing his father, like they made him do it, or like telling something that's bothering him. And she was like, no, I love you and you are enough. And he said, I ain't nothing, I ain't nobody, I'm worthless. Like he just really started down talking himself, and she was really trying to confide, comfort him. And she's like, no, you are somebody and I love you. And so the next morning he comes down like nothing happened, and she's like, I cooked you breakfast. And he was like, I got to go to work. And so she was like, can we talk about what we talked about last night? And he said, no. And she said, why? He said, I don't know what you're talking about, Ava. And she was like, what you had started telling me. He was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she said, so you don't want to talk about it? He said, we're not going to talk about it. So he left. And so she had always told him that he needs therapy, like he needs help. So anyway, so then at her job and all this other stuff. So I'm trying to think what's happening. Yeah, I'm trying to tell the whole movie. So after that, she carpools with her best friend. So she picks her best friend up. And her best friend is like, I don't like him. Like, I need to stop doing that. Hold on, y'all. I need to go get my scissors. I need to quit doing that with my teeth. Okay, I'm back. Usually when I do it, it don't take forever to I can just rip it open quick. Do y'all do that? Do y'all eat like multiple freeze pops? You can't just eat one. You gotta eat more than one. So anyway, the best friend, she's like, I don't like him. You're such a good person. He is so evil. He's so mean. I hate the way he treats you and different things like that. And she's like, I love him. And you don't know him like that. He's really a good person. And, you don't know what he's been through growing up. And he talks to me about different things and stuff like that. So she said, so that's an excuse to stay with him? Like, he's disrespectful. Like, I wish better for you because you deserve better. And so she's like, can we not talk about this? Let's have a good day. We're on our way to work and all this other stuff. So they go to work. They're having a good time and all this other stuff. So, they're supposed to go out to eat, and I know I'm skipping some parts. It's like a 2-hour movie, but it's so, it'll keep you posted. So they get ready to go out to eat. She gets home from work, and she's like, well, I got to go take a shower and change clothes. And he was like, come on, let's go. And she was like, no, I got to take a shower and change clothes or whatever. And so she said, give me about 45 minutes. So she goes upstairs and she takes a shower or whatever. She comes back down and she's like, okay, I'm almost ready. I'm ready to go. And so she looks and he's gone. So he goes to the restaurant where they're meeting. It's a really nice upscale restaurant where they're meeting the best friends, for dinner. And so when he walks in, they're like, where's Ava? And he said, she was taking too long. I left her. And he was already drunk. So the best friend goes outside and she's calling Ava, like, where are you at? So Ava pulls up and they go in and they're talking and all this other stuff. And so when she sits down, he's just sitting there drinking. And then he's like, I'm sick of this shit and this, and that and stuff. And he starts talking loud and he's talking to his best friend. And then he was like, you're always trying to tell me what to do. And so he said, I want a divorce. And she's sitting there stuck like, where's all this coming from? So the best friend is cussing at him because she don't like him anyway. So he gets up and leaves. And then Ava's like, she's just like so sad. The best friend drives her home in her car and her boyfriend was there waiting for them and stuff. So she goes in, and when she goes in the house and stuff, she said, "I'm staying with you tonight. I'm staying with you." And Ava said, "No, go home, go home." And she was like, "No, I want to stay with you. I want to make sure you're all right." And so then the best friend said, "I wanted to give this to you before the funeral or at the funeral, but I didn't think the time was right. So I've been carrying this around for a long time, but I want to give this to you." And it was some papers, like it was folded up. And so she said, "The whole time that you and Dallas have been together, I have wrote down everything that he's done to you." And so Ava was like, "Oh my God." And she said, "Yes, I wrote down everything that he's done to you," which was the bad stuff. So she said, "You don't have to take it. I'm going to sit it here." So she sits it on the table. So the best friend leaves, and then Ava grabs her keys, grabs her the paper, and she drives an hour and a half, because she's in Atlanta. So she drives an hour and a half to the country, to her mama's house, her mom and dad's house. So the dad heard her coming in that night, and she goes in. She's in her bedroom. The mom comes in the next morning, and all Ava's doing is just crying. Like, she's like, "Mom, I watched your marriage. I watched how you love Dad, and you cook and you clean, and I wanted the marriage like that and stuff." And she's like, "But I don't want you to stay where you're not happy." So the next day, she comes downstairs and she's crying and everything, and the dad was like, kind of consoling her and talking to her and everything. These freeze pops are so good, y'all. I got one more. My lips is gonna be so purple, red, whatever the case may be. So anyway, the dad is trying to console her and just telling her that you're a beautiful person and all this other stuff. Well, um, they was going to do something, and so he said, "Eat your food. I cooked you, food or whatever the case may be." And so she's like, "I don't know what to do. I don't even know, where to start. Like, he wants a divorce and all this other stuff." So the mama said, "Let's pray about it." And so the dad was like, "Hold on, wait a minute, And so then she said, "Well, we can pray, but if we pray, you have to follow up. Like, you can't pray about this and then you don't do your part." So I guess this has happened before or whatever the case. It's a movie. But they all go in the dining room, and the dad said, "Let me show you something." So he was showing different clips of Ava when she was like in competition. She was smiling. She was so happy. She was with her friends and different things like that. Then it showed like when she first met Dallas, and then it's like her whole demeanor changed. Like, he changed her, from who she was. And then she wasn't happy. She was always looking sad, looking down. And the dad was like, "Ever since you met him, you are not the same person." And so he even showed her clips of her wedding, and she just looked sad. She looked down. The mama was cussing her out at her wedding, talking about she ain't nothing and all this other stuff. And the dad and the mom was like, "We didn't want you to be with him from the beginning," and so did the best friend. So anyway, she's crying, and she's like, "I got to make a decision," and all this other stuff. Well, anyway, fast forward. The guy that was at the bar, I guess he liked her when she was 17, when she got with Dallas. And so he said he missed his chance once, and he didn't want to miss his chance with her again. But he's also been divorced. He has a little girl. And so Ava went to the fair with her mom and her dad. And so she saw the guy there. And so they were, they were just sitting there talking. Well, somebody took a picture of it and sent it to Dallas. Later on, he's seen it. They sent the picture and stuff. So they're talking, they're having a good time and everything. And so they're on the back of the truck, and he's talking about him missing his chance and how she's a good person, and he don't deserve her. The Dallas don't deserve her because he's such an evil person and all this other stuff. Well, she wanted him to make love to her, and he was like, "No, I can't do that because, the situation that we're in, you're just doing it because you're mad at Dallas or whatever." So anyway, she's still at her mama's house and all this other stuff where her dad wants her to go to some that they usually go to together. And so first she didn't want to go, then she decided to go and stuff. So she called the best friend, and the best friend was like, "Hey, you got vacation time, so just take your time coming back to work. I got you covered," all this other stuff. And so she goes with her dad. When she goes to her dad, she sees the guy. I want to say Eric. That's probably not his name, but just say his name is Eric. So she sees Eric there, and she's like, "Dad, did you call him and let him know that we were here?" And so the dad is over in the cut looking, being nosy and stuff. And so when Ava was like, I'm just trying to, figure things out right now. And then Eric was like, okay. And so the dad said, man, that's all you got? Like, your game ain't stronger than that. So he was really trying to hook them up and everything. So anyway, fast forward, she decides that she's ready to go home. She's like, I'm ready to go home, get back to work and all this other stuff. And so she gets back home and she's having a good time with Eric and they're doing different things and stuff. And so Corey comes to her job and was basically like, you need to have your ass at the courthouse tomorrow to sign these papers. I've been trying to text you, for 7 days. You're not picking up the phone, whatever. So when he went to the job, when he went to the job, the best friend was working with a customer and she saw him come in and she excused herself. So she walks over there. She's like, what are you doing here? He's like, get out of my way, like that. And so she said, no, you need to leave. You need to leave. And so he was like, he said, you better get out of my face before I make you lose this job. She's like, man, F this job. I don't like this. Well, she didn't sound like that. She's like, man, F this job. I don't care about this damn job. You need to leave, And so he goes over there, tells her about showing up to court or whatever. So the best friend is basically like, you need to get a restraining order. You need to get something. And Ava's like, no, I know him. He's fine. This and that, whatever the case may be. So later on, the mom is at the grocery store and she's grocery shopping and she's checking on Ava and all this other stuff. So the dad is like, okay, I'm going to go and check on her and this and that and stuff. Well, Dallas is at the grocery store where the mom is at. She had just hung up the phone from her husband. And so he's talking about her, going off on her and stuff, and gets in front of her cart and then grabs her arm with her. And she's like, ooh, excuse me. She's like, get away from me. You're evil and this and that and stuff. And he said, oh, you told her to leave me. You told her not to be with me and stuff. So he grabs the mama's arm where there's grocery store workers in there and they see all this. So he's like, what are y'all looking at? And so the mom leaves and she's like hysterical. She's going crazy and stuff. So she leaves, goes to the house, all this other stuff. Now, mind you, I'm sitting here waiting for her to call the daughter or the dad and say what happened. She never called either one of them. And so within that time, Eric winds up getting a call from the sheriff, and he goes to his farm and all his cows are dead. Like, they are gone. And they was like, looks like somebody poisoned them. Do you know anybody that could have done it? And he was like, I think Dallas did it. He said, do you have proof? He said, no, we don't have any proof. So all this stuff that Dallas and his family is doing, they don't have any proof. But the cop is like, we need proof, He said, man, you from here, you know how they are. They do stuff like this. So you know that they probably did it or whatever. So he calls Ava and they're talking. And then he tells Ava, because Ava's dad was clicking in, because he said, I'm on my way to Atlanta, where my daughter's at. And so he's like, oh, your dad, she said, dad is calling me. Let me call you back. And he's like, I didn't tell you this, but, my cows and this is that. So she was like, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. And so she was like, okay, he's really tripping. I don't know what's going on. So the dad is basically on his way to Atlanta to check on his daughter and all that stuff. So he installs cameras. He put changed all the locks and all that, because Corey wound up breaking in her house. Like, he was like literally in her house. So she's like, how did you get in here and all this other stuff? Well, later on, they're at the best friend's house and they're having a good time. So Corey comes in, Dallas comes in, and he's like, oh, so you're my best friend and you're sitting here with the enemy where my seat is at. And he's like, you need to leave. And so he said, she been messing with him the whole time. And you my best friend and didn't say nothing. And so the best friend is calling the police, because she's like, she has a restraining order against you. I don't even know why you're here. He's like, I'm at my best friend's house. I'm coming to see my best friend. So the best friend was like, you need to leave and this and that. So now Dallas wants to start snitching and telling all of the best friend's business. He's like, oh, did you tell, whatever the wife's name is. He said, did you tell her about Kelly? Did you tell her that you and Kelly are still together? And that's just like a man. He want to start snitching when, his back's up against the wall. But so the wife was like, the best friend, she's like, yeah, I know about her. And so he said, oh, and you just cool with that? You just cool with that? She's like, you need to leave. So he leaves and all this other stuff. Well, the dad comes home And he gets to the house and everything, and the wife is like folding the clothes and everything. And so she said, dinner is in there, it's ready for you. And he comes, he slams the gun on the table and stuff. And she's like, what are you doing? He said, you didn't think I was going to find out? You didn't think I was going to know? You didn't want to tell me? And he said, they called me from the grocery store and told me that he put his hands on you. It's like, you're not going to put your hands on my wife and all this other stuff. Well, so, oh yeah, hold on. Let me back up real quick. Let me back up. Okay, this video gonna be a little bit long. So, with the letters that she had from her best friend, the mama seen it. Like, this is backing up to where she was still at home with her parents. So the mom seen the letter from the best friend where she was seeing all the stuff that Dallas had did to Ava, and the mom was just crying. And she's like, what did I fail you as a parent? I was so busy being a good wife and checking on the people in the church that I wasn't even paying attention that my daughter was going through what she's going through. And she started dating Dallas when she was 17. So that was her first boyfriend. He would like spit on her, he would beat her, he would hit her, talk to her disrespectful and all this and stuff. And she's like, Mama, you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything. And she said, I just don't understand how you were raised in such a loving home and how you allowed this man to do this. You've never seen your daddy do that to me, you know? And so it was really emotional. And I was sitting up there crying because I'm like, oh my God. I was like, this is so sad. And so then that's when they wound up watching the movie and all that stuff. So when her dad was talking to her, he was like, I don't understand how you allow somebody to talk to you disrespectful and all this and everything. And he said, I don't know everything on what he, you know, you went through with him and all this stuff. She said, but I love your mom. You see me opening up the door for her. You see me holding her hand. You see me telling her I love her every day and how beautiful she is. I just don't understand how you wind up falling into the arms of a man that's totally the opposite of respecting a woman, you know. So that's what I was going to say about that. So then fast forward, what I was saying about the, what was I at? I lost where I was, my track. Okay, went to the grocery store, then he grabbed the gun. Oh, so he grabs a gun or whatever. He's like, he put his hands on you and all this other stuff. So he goes out to the family farm, the family land in their house or whatever. So the mom was like, what are you doing out here? And she's like, where's your boy at? Where's your boy at? And it's like, he put his hands on my wife. And he's like, I'll shred him to pieces or something like that. So Dallas comes from around the corner and he was just like, oh, you looking for me? This, and that, whatever, whatever. So the dad grabs a gun or whatever. He points at him. He said, oh, you going to shoot me? You going to shoot me? So by this time, his brothers is coming up behind the dad, but the dad still has the gun pointing at Dallas. So the dad was like, you put your hands on my daughter. He said, you going to stay away from my daughter and my wife or whatever. And he said, well, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to count to 3. I'm going to turn around and you better put that gun down. So he said 1, 2, 3. And about time Dallas turned around to run, the brothers was like beating the guy, hitting him and everything. And then the mama was like, stop, stop. And so they left him on the ground, all beat up and stuff. And then Dallas took his gun from him, went in the house and all that. So thank God he wound up going to the hospital. And so they wound up calling Ava and was like, you know, they went to the hospital and they were all sitting there. Eric was there too. And so she gets in the car. Well, he turns around because he's like looking for Ava. Well, Ava done got his keys, took the truck, and she's driving. And was like, she called him and she was like, you hurt my dad? You hurt my dad? You put your hands on my mama? And so he was talking stuff on her and all this other stuff. And she's like, I'm going home because I'm about to me and Dallas is about to make love. And he's way better than you. You ain't nothing. And all this other stuff. Like, she was really down talking to him and stuff. He's like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He said, I got something for you. I got something for you. So back up a little bit, because when they wound up coming from that night when they were at the friend's house, she had Eric come home with her, which I was nervous because I'm like, oh, this is not going to go well. And I was real nervous and stuff. So her and Eric, they wound up making love and stuff. Well, they were upstairs and they was in the bed. She was ready to leave the next day for work. So when she was ready to leave, she was like, you know, Eric was still in the bed. And so I'm sitting up here like, oh God, what is about to happen? Well, she goes downstairs and Dallas is sitting at the table eating a bowl of cereal. Like, he's having a good time. And she's like, how did you get in my house? And this and that and stuff. He's like, this is my house, because she did have to go sign the divorce papers. And she was like, you know, I'm going to sign. And he said, I think you need a lawyer present. She's like, no, I read the paperwork. I'm going to sign the papers. Where do I sign? Because she was happy to sign them. And so Dallas is sitting there kind of with an attitude. And then she signs the papers and she gets ready to leave and stuff. And so he's like, she's happy about getting a divorce, you know. So anyway, she's like, this is my house, and you need to get up out of my house. And he was like, this is my house. He said, I'm gonna go to the car, I'm gonna get my stuff, we're gonna start over, and I'm gonna come on back in here, you know. And so she starts saying, I am not that 17-year-old girl that I was. You have not met the real B in me and all this other stuff. And so he said, oh, you done got strong now. You done got cocky. And so he said, I'm going to go upstairs and take a shower. So she don't stop him or nothing. She walks behind him. He goes upstairs and goes in the room, and he sees that Eric is in the bed. So she screams, Eric, Eric. So he's punching Eric, and they're fighting and all this other stuff. And Ava's trying to get him off of Eric and all this other stuff. And so then she gets in and everything, and they're like fighting. And so he puts him like in a sleeper, like a chokehold. So he's passed out on the ground and stuff. And so she's like, no, I got it because I'm mad. So she's mad and she's fed up. And so she's like dragging him. And she's like, I'm sick of you. I'm sick of you. And she drags him all the way out to the house and stuff. And she asks Eric to help her. And so Eric helps her get him in the truck, puts him in the truck and everything. And then the next day they were talking about something and said, well, he got beat up. The other best friend was like, well, he showed up to Ava's house and they beat him up or whatever the case may be. They got into an altercation or something. So now he's sitting outside her job. And the best friend pulls up and she's like, he's sitting outside like he got bruises. And she was like, yeah, he was over last night and this, and that and stuff. So she said, you need to get a restraining order. Like he's crazy. And she's like, wasn't worried about and all that. But then when it was the cow situation, then the dad and all that, she's like, he's never done that before. So anyway, Ava's got some strength because she's like, I'm tired of this. So she's sitting in her house and she's just drinking her wine. And so Eric's calling to see where she's at. The best friend was like, he called the best friend, was like, you need to go to Ava's house because something is going on. I don't know where she's at. She just wound up leaving, and don't go by yourself. So she gets the boyfriend, the husband, and they gets up and stuff, and they're going to Ava's house. Well, Ava's sitting there talking, and then Dallas comes in the house. She could hear a glass, and she had Eric on speakerphone. So Eric was like, what is that? And so she said, let me call you back. And he said, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. So Dallas comes over there, sits on the side or whatever. He's like, he said, you black women, you know, this, and that and stuff. He's like, y'all are pitiful. And she's like, no, you're pitiful and all this stuff. So anyway, so when the dad went out there with the lights, not the lights, the camera, when he went to the camera and changed the locks, well, he brought some extra power ammo for her. He was like, that 22 that you got, it's not going to be enough. So he left some extra power ammo for her to protect herself. So anyway, so she's sitting there all calm and everything, having her wine. So he gets up, and then when he gets up, he slaps her, and then she falls to the floor. He's like, get up, get up. And this is, you want to play bad? Get up. So she gets up, he hits her again, and she grabs the phone, and she's like, my ex-husband is he broke in my house, and he's abusing me or something, she said. And he's like, oh, you want to call the cops? You want to call the cops and stuff. So when he gets ready to come around the table, she grabs the gun from under the counter, and she like pulls it. And he's like, oh, you want to be bad? You want to this, and that? And she's like, I told you don't come around. I told you to let it go. You know, leave me alone. And so he's still talking where she blasting. And he's laying on the floor, and she walks away. She said, I told you. She said, I warned you. So anyway, they go to the hospital. Well, they wound up coming, and she had bruises. And she said, thank you for the evidence, you know, because she had the evidence now that he did it. And so they were sitting in the thing and stuff. And so Eric wound up coming, was like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm okay. And so they go to the hospital. The dad is okay. He was doing all right. And so when they were getting to walk, it was the mama and the brothers, and they were standing at the door down the hallway. So the dad was like, what are they doing here? And then Eric said, Dallas got shot last night, you know, and that's all he said. So they was walking by, and she said, you think you're going to get away with this? You think you're going to get away with this? And so she said, you shot my boy. And so she said, you need to let it go. And so she said, no, we're not going to let it go because you shot my boy. And she said, it's over. Be careful on, what did she say? The strong people, something about be careful about the strong people that you mess with. I think she said, be careful about the strong people that you mess with. She said, let it be over, and then walked away. And then the mom tried to come up to him in the back, but the brother kind of pushed him back a little bit because they were all known in the neighborhood to be like, you know, just bad people, bad, evil people, and do things to people and stuff like that. But it was a crazy movie. The movie was really, really good. The only crazy part was the first part where she was like, leave that casket, get him out the casket. I'm like, oh my God. And so they put him on the back of the truck, and like I said, just took him to the family house. But if y'all, like I said, if y'all have seen it before, come back to this video after you have watched it. But if you have watched it, let me know your thoughts in the comments and how y'all felt about it. I hear some good people. I hear more people saying it's good than it is bad. Somebody was talking about he took it from somebody's book, and I guess she's trying to sue him or something. But either which way it go, the movie was really good. It was emotional. It was a lot of messages in there about, you know, people, and she was basically like, he needs help from the things he went through, and I loved him. I did the best that I could. I did everything that I was supposed to do. But the mom was like, I did not want you to go through that in a relationship. And she's like, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you let me know? You know, and she was like, I was embarrassed. Like, I didn't want to tell everything that I was going through. But the best friend, she told the best friend everything, and the best friend had track of all that stuff. So it was really, really good. I would recommend it. I will watch it again. Somebody said it's like a Timu, what is it? No, Tubi, not Timu. I'm talking about Timu, a Tubi movie, but it was way better than that. It was nothing like a Tubi movie. So, yeah. So I just wanted to come on and talk about that movie because that movie was amazing. I just got done watching it, and it is really, really good. So. All right, y'all, I'm about to get up off of here. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I come on to run my mouth about whatever I want to talk about. Drop in the comments and let me know what you are sipping on. And until next time, y'all, I don't know what's today. Today, whenever y'all see this, everybody have an amazing weekend. Sheer Magic is out. Deuces.